Well, thank you so much for making the time to come and see us today to talk about this very important mission that we have going on right now. I'm Jessica LOMUMBA. I'm from Canada, but originally my parents are from the DRC in South Africa. So Africa has always been very dear to our hearts because, we see the suffering that our people are going through, especially the most vulnerable, who are the children. So we were here, first and foremost on business, but after going through certain personal experience that we've seen ourselves firsthand, it was impossible for us to leave without doing something that we could do. So the situation that occurred for us is we were sitting at a restaurant and just minding our business, having dinner like everybody else would do, and there were these small children, I would say maybe between the ages of 7 to 13, that approached the vehicle, well, far enough to be respectful, and they were selling items, because they're hungry. And there was these officers there, I don't know if they're military police or police, that took the butt of their gun and proceeded to hit the child so hard that he flew in the air and fell on the ground. At which point myself and my sister, were shocked, so we screamed at them and we yelled and we were trying to go to their aid. But most people aside were just basically not doing much because a lot of people maybe are afraid to intervene or are very desensitized to seeing these types of incidents occur. So we said to the manager of that restaurant, we said, we need to know who these people are so that we can find these children. Do you see them walking here every day? So asking people around the neighborhood. So the following day, that's exactly what happened. We scoured the whole area and we found the child that was injured. And he brought us to his mother alongside his brothers, sisters, and other children that she's taken in. Without having nothing, this woman is a single mother of 4 herself, taking 2 extra street kids. So we said we have to go and see what we can do, even if it's just us. What is it that we can do to make their life better? So that's when we proceeded to organize a strategy, which started with getting them the basic needs, which is housing, clothing, food, basic necessities that every child should have. So you'll hear from Ms. Francesca herself firsthand, who was on the ground in those villages and that spent 3 days in the bush to really delve down and see what is life like for them on a daily basis, to get a better understanding of how we as a people can come together to help them. So that's basically why we've extended our trip here in Uganda, to make sure that we rally together, find them proper housing, and figure out a better way forward for them. But not only for them, but to speak to the people of Uganda to see what we could do as a collective to make their lives better. At this point, there's 8 children that are, including the mother, that are living in a 1-bedroom shack. So the living conditions are deplorable. You'll be able to see them as we've showed you some footage. And so there's a surprise for them that's coming that Francesca will tell you about, and we'd be happy if you can come along with us and see what just a small donation could do for a family like that to be able to live comfortably. Oh, some have chewing gum, they can have fruit, they can have anything that they can get their hands on, because they have no money. So every little pennies that they have, they put together and they try and buy something. So they're not begging in vain. They at least try and come with something, to bring home. So it's sad to see, but we know that there's hope, because as a collective together, we could make a difference.
Okay, at the time of one of them
selling packs of chewing gum. So that didn't warrant getting beat over the head. And, there's camera footage of it, but, what are they going to, what can people do? I mean, the powers are greater than any person. But like we say, if everybody comes together and speaks out, then there could be change.
What plans do you have for this shelter?
I mean, the more the better, the more the merrier, right? The more money we can collect, the more that we can help. Right now, we've just started and we've been able to secure a 1-year lease for a family to stay in. And Francesca will tell you about all of the other wonderful things that we've planned to help them. So we want to get a license for the mother to be able to have her concession. We want to get funding for her to be able to get, you know, clothing and stock that she can sell. Things that you can't find in Uganda. We're going to try and bring so that she's successful as well and has pride in what she does, you know, because you lose hope when you can't provide for your children. But when you're actually doing something to provide, it also builds your morale and it's good for the whole family.
Sorry. So my name is Francesca D'Ambrosio. I am Canadian as well. And our main endeavor really was to come to Uganda and explore some opportunities. We've also been in other parts of Africa exploring opportunities and looking to see if there's any sort of business that we could help to facilitate just the basic infrastructure where, you know, we see if there's a gap in the market somewhere that we could facilitate bringing things that are easily accessible to us in Canada or the United States or North America period and bringing it here to Uganda. It wasn't at all a charity mission that we came here to do whatsoever. This literally happened by accident. It was, you know, like an innocent, enjoyable night out where, as my sister explained earlier, that we were just enjoying a meal and we saw some children that had nothing losing the little bit that they did have, and the assault was so great that we literally spent the night in tears, and we said we had to do something. It was just unacceptable for us to just accept that this is the life of these children who have done nothing wrong but be born into a situation that they have no control over whatsoever. So I spent 2 days looking for these children. I recruited the help of a very good friend of ours here in Uganda, Dice Rich. He's a very popular stylist, he's a fashion designer, and he's also from a young life of poverty, and he pulled himself out of it by his own two hands and made a name for himself here in Uganda. So he partnered with us right away when we told him the situation, and him and I spent, like I said, 2 days walking around the Acacia Mall neighborhood, I believe it's Kololo, walking around searching for these children. So we were handing out food to all the other families that were there on the streets, and we kept asking them, do you know of the 4 boys, the one that got beat just a few days ago? And the children guided us to where these 4 boys were. So when we met the 4 boys, they were so shocked that anybody even cared and that somebody was looking for them. And, you know, we listened to their stories for hours. We stood on the street just talking for hours about their situation, and it turns out that they are a family of 8, but the mother has biologically 4, but she's taken in 3 of them. They're not her biological children. They have no mother, and the father is unknown, and they don't know where to find him. So she has taken in these children, given them a place to sleep, and from that we decided, okay, let's at least try to make their Christmas something magical. That's really how this started. It was only going to be a Christmas gift. So we went with them. They got a live chicken from the market, they got matoke, they got rice, they got supplies. They immediately bought everything for their mother that they thought would be useful. They sent us a beautiful video saying thank you, and that's when my sister and I said, there's got to be more that we can do, you know? So then they invited me to head to their home in their neighborhood that they live in. And just before that, I had just come back from a charity trip to the villages 7 hours north, and the poverty there was just as bad. Except there's no urban life over there, it's all bush, right? So when I came back, we went to the neighborhood that these children lived in, and we saw the way that they were living. I was at a loss for words. You know, she showed me inside their home. The size of the room was maybe 8 by 10. And in that room was crammed in 2 bunk beds. And she has everybody sleeping on top of each other, and there's no space for nothing. She has the cooking pot inside the home, so you pray there's not a fire. And when it rains, all the sewage and the raw water filters downstream and floods their home. And they were showing us this, and I saw it with my own eyes. I sat there and I spoke with the mother about how, like, what do you want to do in life? Like, how can we help you get out of this? And she said, well, ideally, if I can start a business, I won't get arrested on the streets anymore for selling my wares without a license, without having a stall in the market. So originally it started to say, okay, let's provide you a business loan. A small business loan, we'll get you started with your stall, we'll pay all the fees, we'll give you capital to start up. She was thrilled. But then she also told us the story that the landlord of this place that they live in wants them out in 2 months because he wants to do renovations to this home. Renovations of what kind, I could not possibly imagine, because it's literally one room, no running water, no electricity, no internal bathroom. The bathroom is a communal shared bathroom for everybody. Very unhygienic. So we said we have to do more. So that's when Dice Rich and I and my sister, we started wandering around looking. We engaged a broker and we said, hey, is there something you can do? Can you help us find something, even just something with running water and electricity? We weren't really thinking the scale of where we ended up. And we landed upon this incredible woman. Her name is Miss Lillian. She's the landlord. She owns a property on a compound, a beautiful compound. It's a standalone home, 2 big, beautiful bedrooms, beautiful, bright, sunny windows, bathroom, electricity, everything is there. And she was asking for a higher price than what I thought we could manage. And when we told her the reason for our searching, she said, you know what? Because this is charity, I'll drop my rate. And she dropped her rate by almost 200,000 shillings for us to do this. I put it on my social media, my sister put it on her social media, and within not even 5 minutes, we had offers to pay the entire rent for a year, so that's secured. We also had money coming in to pay for furniture so that the home can be fully furnished, because they're coming with nothing but the clothes on their backs, which is, you can't put people in a home and expect them to do well if you don't set them up for success. So the surprise now, which the family doesn't know about and we're very excited about, is we're going to spend the entire day shopping for furniture, shopping for baby clothes, shopping for clothes for the boys, shopping for things for the mother, and we're going to fill the house to the brim with as many things that people have donated or all the money people have sent, and we're going to bring them to the home on Sunday and present this to them as just an act of kindness. So like I said, her rent is covered for an entire full year. She has a business loan from us that she doesn't have to pay back for a full year, right? With no interest, obviously. And then we'll make terms that are agreeable to her, but at least now she has a way to sustain her family and to eventually take over the rent of the place. We know these things move very slowly, and we're not going to just leave her abandoned in 1 year and say, good luck, take care of yourself. What we're looking for now and we're asking for now is people from the kindness of their hearts, if they have anything they can offer that's in new or gently used condition, beds, cutlery, kitchen items, cookware, baby clothes, even children's clothes, anything like that, we're setting them up for success. We're also taking it upon ourselves through Dice Rich Foundation. We're going to be setting up a college fund for the boys. They're of age where they'll soon be going to secondary schooling. A lot of them already have scholarships. They're very talented. One is plays football. He's very, very, very skilled. Another one is a beautiful singer. All the kids have wonderful gifts. So we're going to make sure that the boys go to school properly and get a great education. We're going to make sure that mom has support, a helper at home, so that she can go to the market every day and do her job and not have to worry about who's going to take care of her small children. There's security at the compound. Everything is set up. So now it's just a matter of getting everything in place.
Okay, what source of income are you guys?
Income will be coming from her business that she's able to start up. So on the next business day, we'll be taking her to the market to get her a stall. And like I said, we're going to provide her with capital so that she can have things that she can start to sell immediately. But like I mentioned, she has no expenses to pay for a full year. And after that, we'll be still using the donations that come in. Like I said, in 4 minutes on social media, I was able to raise $4,900 US dollars easily. So I would love this to be a story that people can follow and say, I'd like to keep supporting them, whatever else they might need or whatever that looks like. But obviously, you know, Jessica and I have great incomes back home. We're business women, and the plan is, even if donations don't come in to the point where we would have expected, we will still take on the personal responsibility. For example, the lease that we're signing is under our name, so that if anything should happen, we will be responsible, so that Miss Lillian, the landlord, is not going to be left, struggling to have the rent paid or anything like that. But these are all things that we're thinking of the future, because right now we have a solid year completely taken care of.
Okay, where and what picture can you paint?
The new area? The old area. I'm not very familiar with Kampala, but it is not too far from the Four Points Sheraton. You drive about a 10-minute drive down, and it's, oh, I know. There's a famous person, he's a politician. Of course I'm losing his name right now. He was also a singer. He's an activist. He went to the US for a little while. He's from that same neighborhood. Very, I can't remember his name, but I'll have to remember, because I'm so embarrassed I don't remember his name right now, because he's a very active in his community. He's from that same area. But it's a neighborhood, Bukoto Heights. There's a big building there called Bukoto Heights. Am I saying it properly? Are you familiar? Anyways, so Bukoto Heights is the main road of this neighborhood, but then you have to walk down a very steep hill, and you go into where the people with nothing live, and it's literally mud walls of people crammed side by side, and the streets are all dust. There's no streets. It's all mud and dust, and there's trenches dug out in this space so that the water runs through it, and the water is filled with human waste, and it's not clean, and that's what the kids are running around playing in, and they're getting sick. The kids are getting sick. It's not hygienic.
So should we say this is a slum area around Beautifull Heights?
It's definitely a slum area. I don't really like using the word slum, but you have to call it what it is, and that's definitely what it is. And there's people crammed on top of each other, and every day they leave their homes, or they send their children out to hopefully either ask for money or to try to sell what little things they have to bring money home so that they can pay their rent. Currently her rent is at 100,000 shillings a month to pay for this place, which is one room with nothing. No electricity, no water, no nothing.
Okay, we're seeing
Because that's what hurt us the most, was the night those boys were being beaten and harassed. There was tables full of very well-to-do, beautifully dressed Ugandans having meals, having wine, enjoying their night out. Not one of them, not one person even turned their heads to say, oh, are these children okay? My sister and I cried, and she screamed at the officer, let them be. And nobody even turned their head. And we were saying, how can you live like this knowing that these are your children? We've come from abroad, and to us, we're mothers. We see children, we don't care, Ugandan, Congolese, Tanzania, we don't care where these children are from. As mothers, we saw children being assaulted, and children who have nothing, who can't even help themselves. So how dare you take advantage of the situation? So when we left that restaurant that night, we were so discouraged, and we said, you should be ashamed of yourselves. We said that to the table that we were leaving, and they were like, they're a nuisance. And in having conversations with many Ugandans, not all Ugandans feel this way, but a lot of Ugandans are sort of like, I'm having my own difficulties. But we know there's Ugandans with money. We see them all the time. They come to the hotels, they're enjoying their spas and their relaxation. They're running around with their beautiful children and their beautiful families. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't think they know what to do. I choose to believe that everybody would love to solve a problem, but most people feel paralysis and they don't know where to start. They think, if I go into this neighborhood, they're going to rob me. Or if I go into this neighborhood, if I give them one thing, they're going to always keep asking me for money. But it's not about that. It's about figuring out a plan to make their lives now self-sustainable. If you instead of giving a person a fish, you teach them how to fish, right? The saying goes, you teach them how to fish. So by us giving this woman the smallest business loan you can imagine, it's 150,000 shillings a month to rent a stall. We set her up with capital. She's now earning an income legally. She's no longer going to be in fear of being arrested on the streets, and she no longer has to worry that her boys are going to be beaten, assaulted, killed by a traffic car going by, because we hear about these stories. So I implore and I ask people, I do believe that Ugandans, from what I have seen, Ugandans are the kindest people and the most welcoming people that I have ever witnessed. From the moment we've gotten here, Ugandans have always said, you are welcome, and God bless you for doing this good work. And then my question is, do something. Do something. It takes one person. My sister and I just came here for a trip, and now this whole family is going to be moving out of this home into a new home. Their children will never, the little ones especially, will never know what it's like to suffer, because now mom has a job that she can take care of her family. Now the boys are feel a sense of pride and not shame, that they can have friends, they can start to, go back to school, because now they're going to have clothes and snacks and books and all the things that you need to go to school. That's all we did was ask the public, and my Canadian friends, I can't thank them enough, who immediately stood up and said, what do you want to do to help this family? We can do it. It's easy. So that's what I would say to all the wealthy Ugandans. Don't let fear stop you from helping a family, because these families are not out here to take advantage, to rob, to steal. These kids could have been on the street robbing and stealing people. They would rather put together the little money that they have, buy products, and sell it so that they can make an honest living. They have a sense of dignity and pride, but they're overlooked by the regular, person who's doing well, because they're street children, so we don't really care. They're a nuisance to us. They're not a nuisance. They're human beings. They're someone's children. Everybody deserves a chance. So if there's even somebody who would like to reach out and have a conversation about how we did it, how we felt no fear going into this neighborhood, at no moment was I in danger. I went in there just by myself, the way that I look. I was with my bags and everything, my purse. Not one person even came to me and said, ma'am, can I have something from you? No one asked me for a thing. And even the mother of this family is having a very hard time accepting the fact that we're doing this for her, because her sense in her mind is, what do they want from me? We want nothing. We just want to help. So, long story short, I do think there are Ugandans here that need to step up and take responsibility, because Ugandans' children belong to everybody. Most specifically, Ugandans.
Okay, what lesson can you learn from this?
So she is going to open her stall in the market that she grew up in, where she's familiar, where people know her. So she doesn't have to start from scratch in a new market where people aren't sure if her product is good. I have people in Canada that will be supplying things at a very low cost, new t-shirts, just little things that you can't really pick up so quickly here in Uganda. We're going to be supplying her with all the products she needs to sell, like whether it be fresh produce, or whether it be things like charcoal or oil or rice, things that she can have in bulk that she can sell to people. And like I mentioned earlier, part of the plan is, yes, she does have 8 children, 2 adopted, but those 4 older boys will be away at boarding school during the week. And through Shaban and his foundation, which is Dice Rich, like I said, he owns a shop in a very beautiful building in downtown, here downtown is different, in I guess uptown Kampala. He will be employing 2 of the older boys. He'll be taking them under his wing, mentoring them, teaching them how to sew, because they're very interested in fashion. Then for the younger kids, that we don't think it's right that she should have to bring all the little kids with her to the market so she can focus on her business. We're going to be guiding her, mentoring her, teaching her how to keep a ledger, teaching her how to budget, teaching her how to and already she's from here, so she knows how to barter and haggle in prices and things like this. But we're going to be getting her a helpmate that can stay in the home with the little ones, so that she can go off to work in the market and just work an honest day's work, come home and everybody's fed, bathed, ready to go, and she can come home and just focus on the job of being a mom. But now she has something to sustain and an income to sustain her. So we're going to guide her every step of the way. We're not just going to set her up with a business and say, good luck. We're going to mentor her and guide her, and she knows we've all been talking. We call each other sister now. So if ever she needs advice, we're here to guide her along the way. We meant to be here for 10 days, and it turned into 2 months, and we were meant to actually fly out today, because we didn't really think we were doing the house thing and everything, and we weren't sure how it was going to be received, and I was kind of like, I'll do what I can, but I have to go home. But with the immediate outpouring of generosity and support, we said, you know what, we have to stay here and see this through. The lessons that I have learned, and I know my sister and I, we talk about it all the time, is that there is always something you can do. And it takes one person to just take action to change an entire family's life. Just one person. We've been sitting here and we think to ourselves, my God, imagine if it was us in this situation. Sometimes you just need someone to give you a break, to give you a helping hand, to pull you out so that you can think clearly and actually see. Because when you're living in that space, how do you How do you think about anything after today? You're living day by day. But you and I both know, as career women, you can't think day to day. You have to think, you have to have a plan for your future. But when you give someone a hand and you pull them out and you say, okay, breathe. Now you have time to think about the future. You can plan, and we can help you do that. So the lesson again for me is, it just takes one person, and anything helps. Even if you just treat somebody with dignity and respect and say, what is your dream? How can I help you achieve that dream? Even if I can't do it myself, collectively, look how many people have come to support. All I did was put it on social media. All my sister did, she put it on social media, and people have come out of the woodwork to support. Here at the Serena, the general manager, Mr. Daniel, the second we told him the story, he said, you have to take this to the media because this is something that Ugandans need to see. Because we need to strategize on how to end this cycle of poverty, and by helping people get into their own businesses so they can be self-sustainable, I think is such a good plan, and it costs little to nothing. So.
Okay, thank you.